What is up? And welcome back to another episode of Emphasis on Sports. As usual, I'm your host, Damon Anthony. Like and subscribe if you're new. If you're listening to us on a podcast platform, we're available Spotify, Apple, Amazon, iHeart. Check this out. What we do here on Emphasis on Sports is we talk about the sports. Too often, it's a little bit of everything. I'm not a fan of that. I like sports for what they are. All right. That being said, look, a couple things going on right now. WNBA playoffs, full action, and we just wrapped up NFL week 3. Let's break it down. Let's recap the whole thing. There were some good games, maybe some surprises. And there was like a common occurrence that went on that was very interesting to me. A lot of field goals blocked. But Thursday night, let's run that back. Buffalo withstood an actual decent performance from the Miami Dolphins to knock off the Dolphins 31-21. To me, still seems like the Dolphins are a little bit broken. Buffalo's doing exactly what they should. Miami was really in this game until the last couple minutes, marching down the field. Tua throws a pick. Buffalo capitalizes. They take a 10-point victory. Buffalo's continuing to be that team that we thought they are. They're going to be right there in the mix, vying for AFC championship, vying for a Super Bowl. Meanwhile, in Miami, it's looking a little spooky. It's looking a little dark. I don't know how that's all going to work out, but it looks like something is broken and some things need to be fixed in Miami. But for that one, Bills beat Dolphins 31-20. Now, one of the more surprising things that happened this weekend, everybody thus far through just a couple of games. On the last pod, I did say, let's not rush to judgment. It's early in the season. But most people have crowned the Green Bay Packers as the darling, as this team of the future. They're going to go and win the championship 27, 27, 27. If you know, you know, all of these different things. Well, the Packers went into Cleveland and lost 13-10. Sure, there were some questionable things that happened. Sure, there was a field goal blocked at the end where the Packers could have kicked their way to a victory and the Browns ended up taking it home. But one thing the Packers or their fan base cannot run from, doesn't matter how good the Browns defense is, and they're good, damn good, you only put up 10 points. That's it. If your offense is only putting up 10 points, you can't, there's nothing you can say because you're not, as an offense, giving me, you got to have 17. In today's NFL, 17 to 23 can help get you a victory when you have a good defense. The Packers, they'll be fine. They'll rebound. The Browns, I think the Browns are one of the bottom tier teams in the league. So this was good for their fan base. I used to live up there. I know the city was definitely turned up, but this doesn't really mean much. I don't think this is going to send the Browns on some winning streak or anything like that. But the Packers just showed themselves what they need to do to focus. When they're not focused, stuff like this happens. Browns beat the Packers 13-10. Now, one of the more interesting and surprising things of the year have been the success of the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts went into Tennessee and won 41-20. Game really wasn't that close. Danny Dimes, Indiana Jones, whatever you want to call him, still went out there and showed out. But the big thing of the day was Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor, 3 tuds. He did what he's always done when he has been injured. He came out, took the game over, rolled. Indianapolis is looking like a team that could be scary if they stay consistent. Now, the one thing with Danny Jones is the consistent part. If he can stay consistent, this team is built pretty decent. They have some good weapons, have pretty good defense. If they can stay consistent on the offensive side, they really could be tough to beat, especially in the AFC South that Jacksonville and Houston definitely doesn't look good. And they just smacked Tennessee. Indianapolis is definitely a surprise team and can continue to do that. Big shout out to the Colts and their fan base. Colts knocked that one down 41-20. Then we had a backup special game. Minnesota Vikings took on the Cincinnati Bengals. Both the backups were playing. We know Burrow out for damn near the season. J.J. McCarthy out for a couple weeks. So this one was Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz. I didn't see this coming. Minnesota beat the shit out of Cincinnati, 48-10. Hell of a game. I wasn't expecting Carson Wentz to come out and play this type of game. Made really good decisions. more than anything. A pretty good stat line, 14 for 20, 2 touchdowns, good decisions. Defense, we know what Ryan Flores does. He has that defense out there humming, no problems. And playing against the Bengals, their offense really ain't hitting on nothing. Without Joe Burrow, that was easy money there. 48-10. Hell of a blowout. Good job, Vikings. Then this was an entertaining game to me. Just was. A lot of turnovers. Turnovers aren't always the most entertaining thing, but they keep the game moving. Pittsburgh Steelers walk into New England and knock off the Patriots 21-14. This one still, I'm still going to stick to what I've been saying the first couple of weeks. The defense of the Steelers isn't showing me as much as I'm expecting. So you go 30 points, and true, you only give up 14 here. But the Patriots aren't necessarily an offensive juggernaut. The Steelers come to work with defense and running. And right now, Aaron Rodgers is doing just fine, holding down the fort on offense. Steelers, yes, force 5 turnovers. This is Steeler football. This is what Steeler fans need to see the rest of the way out. Consistency there. If you're holding teams under that 17, that 20-17 mark, I believe Aaron Rodgers can win you some games offensively. He doesn't have to be dynamic. He just has to not learn. He just not fuck it up. And I think he can do that with no problem. This one, Steelers beat the Patriots 21-14. Then another game, big game of the day. This was one I was looking forward to outside of my 49ers. Eagles hosted the LA Rams. The Rams were in control of this game damn near the entire game. This one looked like upset special. A lot of the people picked the Rams to, at the very least, cover. They had it. They had it. But then, as what happened plenty times during the day, end of the game, the Rams actually are right there to kick the field goal to win. Kick gets blocked. Eagles run that thing in for a touchdown. A lot of block kicks. That being said, the Rams did have a really good showing, but that offense, it wasn't there in the second half. Only 7 points in the second half. Meanwhile, their defense, which looked good the first half, gave up a 26 piece in the second half. Those are things that the Rams, I really believe, can fix. But the Eagles are who we thought they were. They're a team that's going to find a way to win. This is what champions do. No matter what, you can feel however you want about the Philadelphia Eagles. They're champions. They're a team full of champions. The coach, I'm not a fan of Sirianni at all, but he did win a championship. So he understands that. So what they're doing is they're just winning. Big shout out Eagles. 33-26. Then another game. And this one had a really funny end. The Tampa Bay Bucks hosted to the New York Jets. And the Bucks were, I'm going to say, in control of the game for damn near the whole game. But then right at the end, Jets, another block field goal, ran in for a touchdown. Jets coach, Aaron Glenn, took off all the way down the sideline, running with the team, danced it up at the end. Do you remember on the 21st of September? Only to leave too much time for Baker Mayfield and the Bucks. Walk it down, kick a field goal, let's get up out of here. This was an interesting one, at least the way it ended. The Jets scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. 21. 21. The Jets are a team that I think are on the verge of being scary. I don't think that they're going to take over their division. I don't think that they're going to make the playoffs, but they're going to be highly competitive throughout the rest of the year. They're going to give teams a lot of scares, and they're going to get ready for next year. I think they may be trouble next year, especially if Fields comes back. They really can get this offense humming like he did earlier last couple games of the season, right? Then we had another very interesting game. There's just a lot of them. That's like my theme for this week. Interesting, right? Washington Commanders host the Las Vegas Raiders and beat the snot out of them, 41-24. This one was interesting because Washington was coming in with a backup. So this kind of leveled the playing field, and I think a lot of people were expecting the Raiders to stick in the game more, maybe even win. This one was out of control by halftime. Score was 20-10 at halftime, and it just never got any better. The Commanders are a well-built team. If Jane Daniels can come back, stay healthy, they're going to scare some people. They're going to hurt some feelings along the way. Meanwhile, the Raiders, I think they're going to finish last in their division. I know it's a little early to call that, but I am looking at these other teams in their division. I just think they're built better. And they're going to respond a little bit better. This one was huge for Washington, 41-24. Then, whew, Panthers Falcons. So this is sometimes what I hate about sports, right? Falcons go into Carolina and get absolutely smashed, 30-0. Falcons didn't score a point at all. Offense looked terrible. I think a lot of people were calling for, oh, it's time to sit Michael Penix. Let's start Kirk Cousins. Relax. Michael Penix hasn't even started for a full year. Remember, he came in halfway through last year. So this is kind of still his first 17 games to start. He's gonna have those moments. He's gonna need that help there. But let me ask you this, Atlanta Falcons. Why'd you fire your wide receiver coach? Did the wide receiver coach really like hurt you that much at 30-0? Aren't there other people? Isn't there a quarterbacks coach? Isn't there an offensive coordinator that maybe you need to sit down and talk to? You kind of went lower guy on the totem pole just to say we fired somebody for it. I'm not a fan of that at all. Meanwhile, the Panthers look really good. They were humming. There's nothing that can be said. Whether it was Bryce Young, whether it was Chuba Hubbard, they actually looked like a really solid team, made some good defensive plays, good defensive stops. Carolina, I still think that they're on the bottom tier of the NFL. The Falcons, I'm going to place on that bottom tier in the NFL, but the Panthers look like they have stuff that they're building on, and they will be a better team coming up. I really believe that. 30-0, Panthers over the Falcons. Then we have Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Houston Texans. Jacksonville won this one 17-10. A boring ass game. One of the more boring games of the day. Easily. I mean, 10 points scored by Houston, 17 by the Jags. I don't even really have a lot on this one. The Jags look like the fine team. Houston looked like a team that was playing against a team that's better than them in the division. All in all, though, very boring. Shout out to the Jags, 17-10. Now we move over to the AFC West. Los Angeles Chargers take down the Broncos 2020 in a highly spirited, highly competitive game. This is what division games are. I truly think that the Chargers, they may be taking over this division this year. Not going to count out the Chiefs yet, but right now the Chargers are 3-0 in division against. They played everybody in their division. They haven't even looked outside yet. So that gives them a nice little edge against everybody else in the division. And they look like a team that's really good. They do. Denver, we know, is walking in with a pretty damn solid defense. Offensively, there's still a little bit of a work in progress, but the Chargers are finding ways to win. In a couple years past, they couldn't find those ways. These close games, they're losing. Now, for them to take this one down at home bodes really well for the Chargers. LA Chargers knock off the Broncos 23-20. Then another blowout, absolute blowout. Seattle Seahawks hosted the New Orleans Saints and beat the snot out of them 44-13. This one was out of control early. The Seahawks had a 21-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. Dang. And then it just kept going like that. Now, I said before the season, I believe that New Orleans is the worst team in the league. I'm still going to stand by that. No knock to the guys on that team. They're in a complete rebuilding. They're not sure exactly if Spencer Rattler's their guy or not. And right now, that defense ain't hitting on nothing at all. Very interesting to see this game, especially to get out of hand the way that it got out of hand. I didn't necessarily see that coming. I did see Seattle winning. Maybe Seattle's a little better than we thought. They are 2-1. They did have that one loss within division to the 49ers. We're going to see. The book is still open on Seattle. Meanwhile, New Orleans, 44-13, Seahawks knock off the Saints. Next game was actually a surprise to me, especially the way that it laid out. Just the way that it laid out. Dallas Cowboys, 1-2, walking into Chicago, who they need help. And we all know that. We all see that, right? The Bears beat the shit out of the Cowboys. There's really not another way to put it. There just isn't. And this one was damn near halftime. It was over. 24-14 at halftime. Cowboys didn't score at all in the second half. At all. That's bad. We see the effects of trademark Micah Parsons. We see, with struggles on offense, If everybody's not there, Dak becomes, you can kind of neutralize Dak. But that defense is absolutely terrible. It's atrocious. There's no reason that 31 points, and then the Cowboys couldn't score really at all. I believe most of their scores really just look shabby. Man, the Cowboys got to do something, or they're going to be cellar dwelling right with the Giants as the season goes. Meanwhile, for the Bears, everything that the Bears do, if the Bears win a game, that is a huge accomplishment. If they go and beat a team, that's huge. If they lose by 1,000 points, okay, we're building. So this was good for the Bears, just for them to get this win against the Cowboys. The Cowboys, y'all need help. Chicago, 31-14. Then the game that I could not wait to see, NFC West matchup, 49ers hosting the Arizona Cardinals. This one, ugly, 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 ugly game. If I wasn't a fan, I would have been bored by this one because it wasn't boring. Very ugly game. A lot of field goals in this one. 49ers held it down, came back at the had to march it down at the end of the game. Eddie Pinheiro gets his first walk off of the 49ers, 16-15. Couple big things of note here. As usual, as the faithful know, we get another big injury. Nick Bosa gone for the season. We got to get some guys back. Luckily, the 49ers are 3-0, and they're 2 games ahead in the division right now. But them injuries, it's the 49er way. I got to say it as a fan. It's 49er way. We keep getting injured, then what are we going to do, right? But 49ers take down the Cardinals 16-15. Might not have been like that if Mr. Marvin Harrison Jr. catches some of those balls that he was dropping. Night game on Sunday. Chiefs at the Giants. This one I could not understand for the death of me. Why there were pundits and people picking the Giants to knock off the Chiefs. The Giants put up a really good game last week against Dallas. But as I talked about earlier, Dallas sucks. Meanwhile, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. They're champions. They're going to figure it out. They're going to win games, especially when they play a team that's on the Giants level. Very bottom tier, almost at the bottom of the bottom tier. Chiefs win this one 22-9. Really average game. Only thing really good about the Giants was Scatterbo. And we know that Scatterbo, we know he's cold. We know that. But also coming out of the Giants camp today, Mr. Russell Wilson, sit on down. Jackson Dart, let's go. This is absolutely a play by Brian Daboll to keep his job. I don't know how much it's going to work. Just got to try, right? Chiefs rebound, get their job done. They're going to be having some people on the way back coming soon. And then the Chiefs may get back to the Chiefs when Worthy gets back, when Rice gets back. It's maybe a whole different thing. That run game may open up some now that there's guys on the outside. Now you stretch out the defense. Maybe a whole different texture of a game. For this one, though, Chiefs 22-9 in the Monday Night Football game. This one was real cool, real exciting. Had a buddy of mine actually shoot me a text like, man, this is the game of the year. And it was not. It was not. Baltimore, Buffalo, week 1. That is game of the year until something changes it. Too much of a comeback in the last couple minutes. But for this one, a lot of people, including myself, took Baltimore. I took Baltimore because they're at home. When it's about an even game, I tend to take the home team. Detroit didn't care about none of that shit. Detroit walked in there ready to rock, put up 17 in the fourth quarter, and once again, Derrick Henry with a costly fumble. It's 3 weeks in a row of fumbles, and I don't think he's used to doing that. You could tell he was beating himself up some, which I totally can understand. But on the other side of the ball, Detroit is looking like what we thought they were, what they were before. They're looking like they've gotten over the Ben Johnson fatigue of losing him, and they're putting up points. Keep an eye out. Detroit, we know that they're a good team. We know they're going to be there. They may be real scary, right? So that's how I'm going to wrap up NFL Week 3. We'll do Week 4. We'll preview, do the picks coming up here. But now on to some playoffs. We got playoffs happening right now. WNBA playoffs. First things first. Big shout out Asia Wilson winning the WNBA MVP 4 times. She's in that tier of all-time great women's basketball players. She is currently the MVP. She's the best player in basketball right now. Nafisa Collier is 1A minor to 1A, right? She's right there, right there. But Asia Wilson, absolutely cold. Great to see her take home that hardware. But Aces got to get it together. Right now, the Fever are up 1-0. Aaliyah Boston has been balling. We know. Caitlin Clark's not on that team, but I'm just gonna tell you this: a lot of people didn't expect the Fever to get out of round one. Right now, the Fever are up 1-0 on the Aces. Just gonna say, I'm gonna throw this out there. Let's just say they win a championship. If they win a championship, I don't want to talk about Caitlin Clark. I just don't. I have no problem with her. She's a great basketball player. She's one of the best basketball players that's out there. But it would prove a lot of people right and a lot of people wrong if the Fever went and won a championship. Sometimes it's deeper than rap. Sometimes it's deeper than the things that we may think about. I'm just going to say that and leave that right there. I hope everyone that watches basketball remembers Steph Curry coming out of Davidson. I remember the shows he would put on. Oh my God, it was fantastic. I want to see it every day. He got drafted. Let me lock into the Golden State Warriors. It took a couple years for him to become the NBA player that we know, because I was locked into the beginning and it was shaky, right? So with Caitlin Clark, it may take a second for her to get back to what was happening in Iowa. It may take just a second, but then you also, the further that the Fever go, she can't come in and rock the boat. You can't come in and move the goalpost just for one player, not if the team is doing damn well. So that one's going to be an interesting one. Currently, like I said, Fever up 1-0 on the Aces. It's going to be a tough series. Then on the other side, Minnesota Lynx, they're up 1-0 on the Mercury. The Mercury, to me, that was an upset first round, but they're going to stick in there and they're going to ball. Definitely got some ballers. Alyssa Thompson, we know what she does. We know she's a hooper. But you got Nafisa Collier. You got the stud buds. You got a hell of a team over there in Minnesota. Lost in the finals last year. The team that they lost to, the Liberty, is gone. So I'm pretty sure that the Lynx are sitting and looking and saying, can none of these chumps beat us? I think this is going to be a great series. Both of these series, I really got coming down to 5 games. I said it at the beginning of this series. I think it's going to be Lynx Aces. I could very well be wrong. I don't think Phoenix is going to be there, but Indiana could knock off the Aces. I mean, if anybody's paying attention, that's an absolute fact. That's an absolute truth. All right. Now look, baseball. Baseball's motoring along. I'm going to get a little more in depth on baseball coming up soon. Playoff push is happening. There's already teams being knocked out. There's teams clinching. I love the baseball playoffs. Very exciting. The fans go absolutely nuts. Definitely we'll be talking about that. College football, only big things of note for me at least. Oklahoma State fired Mike Gundy today. Oklahoma State just hasn't looked very good at all. I think Mike Gundy's been there about 20 years. If y'all remember, I'm a man. I'm 40. That's Mike Gundy. For those of you that remember, those of you that don't, hey, when you've been in a place for this long, sometimes it gets away from you and it's just time to move. And I think that's where we got to with Mike Gundy. I'll take no shots at him as a coach. His team hasn't looked good this year. He's been there for a very long time. 20 years as a coach in anything, of any sport, is very hard to stay consistent. So they moved on. Meanwhile, in Clemson, a lot of people are calling for Dabo Sweeney's head, and kind of fair enough. Let's see what happens there. Couple big matchups this weekend. The one that I'm really looking forward to is the Florida football matchup of the year. Miami, Florida State on Saturday. I will be locked in. We'll talk later this week. Like I said, I'm going to break down week 4 in the NFL. We'll talk about college football. Let's see what happens in the WNBA. And then we got to update them MLB standings. Until I holler at y'all again, till I see you another time, I will holler.